You're watching the 2023 SCAC Fall Media Days. Today we're taking a look at the Trinity University women's soccer program. The Tigers will be led once again as they head into the season under the guidance of head coach Dylan Harrison, along with the leadership from senior Reese Wallace. Coach Reese, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thanks, Russell.
Coach, we'll get started with you heading into your 8th season now as the head coach of this women's soccer program there at Trinity. And I'm interested. I feel like I ask student athletes a lot about their process of getting prepared for a new year and the start of preseason. But as a head coach, how does that process work for you? And kind of, the thought of going through these journeys in the season before and climbing up these mountains, and then it's, back to the start anew and kind of back to square one. And how do you process that as a coach? And what is key for you and your staff getting prepared for a new year and the start of a new preseason?
Yeah, I know. I think if I'm talking to a group of coaches, we kind of all feel the same in terms of, even though it's a new year and we have that time off and everything, doesn't mean that we stop thinking about it at almost any given point. I've been fortunate, these last few years and summers that I kind of have a little built-in reset, a built-in kind of adjustment in terms of schedule. I have a just turned 3 and a 5-year-old who weren't in daycare all summer. So being around them and getting to spend a lot of time with them, the 5-year-old just started kindergarten, and just kind of spending that moment and that time with them, knowing that, okay, for the next 3-4 months, a lot of my time is going to be dedicated here. Really kind of just recharges me, just spending as much time I can with my own family, right? For that to kind of be a big part of, what we try, the environment that we try to create. I also have to be living that, and actually had a great chance to do that, and needed it this summer. That being said, ready to be back and just excited to be around the group.
Reese, heading into your senior season, this group, of course, coming off an outstanding 2022 campaign, 21 wins on the year. That's the most since going back to 2016. This team coming off their 3rd straight SCAC tournament appearance, 2nd straight appearance in the NCAA tournament, 2nd weekend of action. A lot to be excited about coming into this preseason camp. Just take me through your mindset. What are you excited about? And what is the vibe of the group right now here through these first few days of preseason camp?
Yeah, I mean, our coach said the other day from an old teammate looking at the stats, she was like, it can't really get better. So we have expectations to uphold and standards to uphold. And I think everyone is so excited that we've been able to do that in the past. And we have so many girls that are so excited to start for our team, whether that's a freshman or a sophomore, and to implement more energy into the team, that I think we're going to go even further this year with all of those statistics.
Coach Reese talks about looking back at some of those statistics, and it does stick out to me looking over it. I think you returned 8 student athletes that started 19 or more games last year, and it's probably even deeper than that when you talk about the way that you work your bench, and some of those key returners are back as well. As a coach and a coaching staff, how much does that help coming into a preseason, having that kind of core of experience return? And does it feel like you can kind of start a couple of pages down the playbook or kind of the starting line, being at a little bit different spot when that kind of experience is back for a preseason?
Yeah, I mean, you could talk about it two different ways, right? The first part of the actual playing and the soccer side of it, each team is going to bring its own new identity, right? And we're forced to, unfortunately, due to graduation and all that good stuff, those players, those identities move on. And as we add new ones, our team dynamic changes. So that's a part of it. And we're still trying to figure that out. It doesn't matter how many returning players we have. We like to talk about each year our playing identity, and being true to who we are as a team on the field is huge. Where all the returners and the key players really play a role is, they know the standard, they know the expectations, and they have high standards for themselves. So it makes it that much easier for incoming players to see automatically and very, very clear, okay, that's the level, that's the intensity, that's the standard that we live day to day. And so they're excited about it. I mean, that's why those incoming players wanted to be a part of this type of program. And so that's where I feel that we are, steps ahead. We're not having to get people motivated to train. It's just intrinsic in who they are. Our job is just to kind of help them along that process and create an environment that leads to success.
Reese, preseason certainly one of the most unique times of the year, and a lot of hard work, but there's a lot of excitement that comes with it. I'm interested, maybe some things that you've noticed over the course of your career that this Tiger women's soccer program embraces during preseason, that maybe break it up a little bit and kind of add some excitement. What are maybe some traditions, some things that you really enjoy about the course of preseason that helps not only kind of set that foundation for finding the chemistry within this team, but also breaks up the hard work during preseason as well?
Some of the things we do during preseason are captain's practices, just to start and get everyone on the same page and kind of get rust off and just get everyone playing together a little bit just for fun. And that initial excitement of seeing one another is something that everyone really looks forward to and is really excited to do. No one's ever complaining about it. Everyone wants to see each other and wants to train with each other, even though we know we'll have a challenging official preseason with Dylan and Spencer. And I would also say we do so much off of the field as well. I'm really lucky to say that I have 29 other best friends. Like genuinely, we can come to each other for everything. And we've worked really hard to build that chemistry throughout different activities. Even with the freshmen, before they're allowed to move in, they come and stay with some of the upperclassmen. So that way we're integrated more than we usually would be on campus, just because we have such different class schedules and whatnot. And we always make a point to do team dinners, team breakfast after captain's practices, things like that, intermixing classes when we do eat. So everyone's talking to one another and everyone's more than happy to do it as well. So I'm never having to convince any teammate to be somewhere. Everyone wants to do it and everyone is very self-motivated. So it makes the job really easy.
And finally, Coach, wrapping things up with you, what are your expectations with this group coming into this season? The ceiling that maybe you could see potentially with this group, the expectation certainly always high in San Antonio because of all of the hard work that you and these players have put in over the course of the years. So coming into the season with you and Spencer, and you've had those discussions, what have those looked like for you, and how will this team, be able to try and challenge those going into the season?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it as a group. Really our expectation for the team remains the same every single year, and it's to be a better team at the end of the season than we were when we got here. And so when you're talking about what kind of needs to happen along the way, obviously there's some steps. We can't just jump from A to Z. And as you mentioned, putting in the work and kind of going through it is a big part of it. And then the next part is us, right? Our commitment to them, to be fully engaged and to be ones that challenge them and to create a fun learning environment that's supportive of each other. I think a big part of that starts with us, because that's what's important to them. And so our expectations are that we give our best, knowing that every single time we've asked it of them, they've come up good. So really just putting it all out there, being fully committed to it, and just seeing where it takes us.
And finally, Reese, similar, just your goals heading into this season, both individually and as a team. What have those discussions looked like amongst your teammates, and what will be key in trying to climb that back to the top of the mountain again?
Yeah, I think individually, I think just making an impact on and off of the field and helping to create a culture that our team is extremely proud of, and just watching over everyone, making sure they're doing all right physically, mentally, emotionally, and that everyone's enjoying it and having fun and they're continuing to be bought in. Because if we want to get to where we are expecting to, everyone does need to remain that way. And I think as a team, I expect us to continue to get better, like Dylan said. And I think we've been knocking on the door, looking at postseason tournaments. So I think that's really exciting and I can't wait to see what happens then.
Trinity University women's soccer program. Again, the Tigers head into the season under the guidance of head coach Dylan Harrison, along with the leadership of senior Reese Wallace. The Tigers will open up the 2023 campaign on the road at Redlands on September 1st. Coach Reese, thanks so much for your time today, and best of luck as you head into the season.
Thank you.
Thanks, Russell.